back from the break. You're watching a special Eid show, and just before the break, we were discussing the true essence of Eid. Now, to carry this conversation further, and of course, to make it more interesting, to bring you lots of fun, lots of laughter, and definitely lots of candid conversation too, let me introduce you to this new and, of course, a wonderful lineup of guests that we do have with us in the studio today. Our first guest for this new segment is Ms. Sara Javed Gandapur. She's a fashion designer and she's also an animal rights activist. Assalamu alaikum. Wishing you a very happy Eid.
Khair Mubarak.
Thank you for joining us today. My second guest for today's segment is Ms. Diba Shehnaz, who is the head of Community and Safety Information Rescue 1122 Punjab. Assalamu alaikum, Ms. Diba. Wishing you a very happy Eid.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum Pakistan, and thank you for inviting me in the great show. Happy Eid to all.
My third panelist for this segment today is Zuraiz Riaz, who is not only a social worker but he's also a musician. Assalamu alaikum, and wishing you a very happy Eid too.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you very much, Fatma, for having me. Eid Mubarak to you as well.
And my fourth and final panelist for this segment today is Salman Riaz. He's a musician and he's also a songwriter. Assalamu alaikum, Salman, and he is wishing you a very happy Eid.
Eid Mubarak to you too. Thank you very much for having me.
Now, to get the conversation started with you, Sara. Sara, when we do talk about Eid, I think one of the most important part of Eid, especially for women, now at least for men, I think, is also about looking good and putting your best foot forward. So when we talk about the latest designs in this very scorching heat, so what do you feel is in and what do you feel is out on this very summery Eid?
Right. First of all, I want to say that it's always a pleasure to be on this show. And today, while we are here to celebrate Eid with you and of course PTV, I would like to say that, you know, fashion is, I think it's just your own identity, how you identify as a person. It could be using latest trends or whatever, but I mean, if you talk about the trending fashions, that is, there nowadays. Well, long shirts are back in, and lots of, because it's hot. And
and we also see a lot of people now going back to the palazzo and also the shalwar culture.
Right, and which is actually a breath of fresh air, because I personally was getting very tired of doing different variations, the silhouettes of the pants, but the plazos and the shalwar kameez, making a comeback, proper shalwar kameez. So that's really trending, and of course the dupatta culture is also coming back again, because there are a lot of heavily worked, embellished dupattas that are making a comeback.
That too you see with solids, because a lot of times people just want to play down. They want to play it up and they want to play it down. So they want to have that one ideal dress, which they can dress up and dress down accordingly.
And you would also remember that initially why were lawns introduced in the Pakistani fashion scene? It was because we are a country with hot climate, and to be wearing lawn was like the perfect dress, because you could beat the heat with that. But unfortunately over the years, I would say fortunately or unfortunately, over the years the lawn became so expensive, and it was loaded with all the embroideries and the stuff that we were trying to avoid.
But now over a period of time, Sara, we do see that culture and of course that trend is coming back, because since the past few years at least, we have seen that Eid is now falling in summer, so to speak. But coming towards you, madam, I think this question would be very relevant to you as well, since you are wearing your uniform, that too on Eid today. So when we talk about your fashion choices, what is it that you like? Do you like dressing up in a more simplistic manner, or would you opt for comparatively something more heavy on occasions like Eid?
On Eid, if we are on duty, we wear uniform.
No, but I'm talking about the Eid when you're not on duty, when you're at home with your family.
Definitely with the whatever is in the fashion, and we don't have much time to get it designed, but whatever is available, ready-made available.
So you keep yourself dressed with all the latest fashion trends.
Yes.
That is very good.
Yes, we do.
But in this regard, another question that I would want to put to you, and I think this is something very relevant for you and your line of work, is that a lot of times we see that people like yourself who are so busy serving the community, serving humanity, they might not get that me time to celebrate Eid with their beloved ones. So how do you, in your own line of work, strive to have that ideal balance?
I think it's the it's the inner side feeling that we have to serve to community, we have to sacrifice, then you will be spending your Eid with more joy. And if we will not be on duty, definitely somebody will be ringing 1122 and nobody will be there. That will be difficult part.
Right.
So whenever we motivate our all staff, and there is only thing that if we will be on duty, people can safely celebrate their Eid.
Right.
This is the one thing. And second thing, this is the Eid of sacrifice. You know, it teaches us the holistically
That's so
approach
true.
how to sacrifice for your families, for your country,
Beautiful,
and
yeah.
for
And you're
everything.
living it up in
Yep.
the true meaning, the
Yes.
true essence,
Yes.
right? But when we talk about your days when you have those off days, so to speak, so you must be getting at least one day off. So what is your typical Eid day like?
We feel that our work is the first priority, and we should do that, and after that the family, because whenever we get small chunk of time, and if we go back to the home and we celebrate, we eat meat of the whatever the
So
sacrifice
that is your
done.
celebratory mode.
That is celebration.
Having the best food on Eid. And
Having
that's
the
a very
best
interesting
food with
perspective you
the
see.
family members.
Right, of course.
That's
And that
nice.
is of course a very
Because
important
we are
part.
away from the family and we are missing our family whenever we are close to them.
Right.
That is the
So food is that
Beautiful.
unifying
Yes.
force
Yeah.
in your Eid celebrations, right, madam? On which, Zurez, I'll come to you and I would want you to share your typical Eid day and of course the highlight of your Eid celebrations too. So how does your typical Eid day look like, and what is that one highlight that you're really looking forward to, that too on Eid?
So I think on the day of Eid, my first priority is to spend time with my family, and of course I do that because I've done a lot of hard work in the months before
I know.
that, and I'm going to my family to actually resolve their craving to have me with them. So actually that is something that I actually
Look forward to. Right?
forward to.
But you
on the
must
day
be
of
getting
Eid.
queries all the time, because people, I think,
Yeah.
in cases of emergencies, because
Yeah.
that's what you're also
Yeah.
dealing with, they wouldn't just see that it's Eid, so perhaps we must not reach out
Yeah.
to him or the Facebook group that you are running. So
Yeah.
I think you're on the go all the time
Yeah, yeah.
that way.
So primarily the queries that are coming on the group that I have on Facebook, we have all the volunteer moderators who are actually approving all the posts. So, you know, I appreciate and acknowledge all of them who are actually devoting their time to help the community. And I have actually tried my best to enable everyone to come forward and, you know, play their part in serving the community in a way that, you know, you have that sense of accomplishment at the end of the day, on the day of Eid, that, you know, you've done your part and, you know, now you're back to your family and you're...
And that is so important, that too,
yeah.
for young people like yourself. Coming towards you, I think your profile in itself is also very interesting, because I do understand that you've studied artificial intelligence, rather you've done your master's in artificial intelligence, you're a data scientist as per profession, as per training, but then again you've made a switch to music.
Yeah,
So
runs in the
how do you
family,
find
doesn't
that balance? Because you see, everything is so different, it's very scattered.
Yeah. I've had this dilemma since I was a child. When I was, I think, 3 years old, my dad saw me getting up on a chair, computer chair, and turning on the computer myself. I didn't even know how to read back then, but I opened up MS Paint and I was just playing on it. And then I also had the piano, and I would see my brother playing the piano all the time. So I've had this dilemma since the start. So I think developed enough.
You've managed that, and you
Yeah,
see,
I've
then I
had
feel
enough
the
experience.
common connection, if I was to look at your profile from an
Yeah.
objective viewpoint, is the fact that perhaps your knowledge of artificial intelligence that could also help you in your music career, so to speak,
Yeah, I
because
think-
you would perhaps be in that position to make songs, to compose songs, which would perhaps take people maybe a long time to actually compose or produce. But when we do talk about your songs, and this is, I think, a question to both of you, I do understand that your very popular song by the name of Distance, that is perhaps your claim to fame, and it is of course a very unique song in itself, primarily because it has that ideal, you know, combination of both Urdu as well as Punjabi language. So it would be great if you could sing it out for us.
Firstly, I think the big thing about this song that is unique is that it has both Urdu and Punjabi. And the idea behind that was to represent people who come from Punjabi background, but mostly speak Urdu in their house. And also to bring people from Punjabi culture close to Urdu culture by using both languages and using the soundscape of Western music and using instruments that are more leaning towards the East. I believe that we bridge that gap between the West and the East, and that is the motivation behind this song, Distance.
Right.
In fact,
Yeah.
we should
And
be singing the song.
of
for
course,
you.
we would love for you to sing it out
Yeah.
for us. But I feel then, you see, this again is a very different narrative. It's a very different perspective to look at things, because a lot of times we don't get that perspective, that too from extremely young musicians like yourself. So it's over to you.
ਤੈਨੂੰ ਵੇਖਿਆ ਤੇ ਚੰਨ ਭੁੱਲ ਗਿਆ ਵੇ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਲੜੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਸਾਹ ਰੁਕ ਗਿਆ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਵੇਖੇ ਤੂੰ ਮੁਖ ਖਿਲ ਜਾਵੇ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਵੇਖਣਾ ਏ ਸੋਨੇ ਮਾਹੀਆ ਤੇਰੇ ਲਈ ਤੇਰੇ ਯਾਰ ਬਥੇਰੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਤੇ ਤੂੰ ਹੈ ਕੋਈ ਸਹਾਰਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਤੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਬੜਾ ਕਰਨੀ ਵੇ ਤੇਰੀ ਫੋਟੋਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸੀਨੇ ਨਾਲ ਲਾਵਾਂ ਤੂੰ ਜੋ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਏ ਤੋ छोड़ दूं मैं ये जहां तेरे मेरे फासले फिर होंगे ना यहाँ तेरे मेरे बीच तो जन्मों के नाते हैं देख ले यहाँ भी तू सदियों के नाते हैं कदी हंसा कदी मन पर छावा जे तू मिले ते मैं शगन मनावा नी सोने दे रंग वर्गी नी मिश्री दे खंड वर्गी तेनू वेखिया ते चन भुल गया वे अखां लड़ियां ते साह रुक जा जिवे वेखे तू मुख खिल जावे किथे वेखना है सोने माहिया तेरे मेरे बीच तो जन्मों के नाते हैं देख ले यहाँ भी तू सदियों के नाते हैं तू जो मिल जाए तो छोड़ दूं मैं ये जहां तेरे मेरे फासले फिर होंगे ना यहाँ
That was amazing. But when we do talk about the song composition, a lot of times we see musicians, they hire somebody else to write the songs and then they sing it out. But in your case, what is very interesting is that you, in all probability, you compose and you write the lyrics and you are the vocalist. So I think it makes you a great get-to-go team as well.
Yes, so we work together. He is basically the main engineer behind all of the tracks that we have produced so far, and he's a vocalist as well. So I just joined him out of when I was doing all the social work, and I decided, you know, he's singing this song. I need to play my part as well. So he was kind
So
enough
your
to give
becoming
me.
a musician was by accident, and that is extremely interesting because you see, Sarah, a lot of times we
Yeah.
see that people who do end up in the
Right.
careers, that too by
Yeah.
accident, they perhaps end up doing better than those who have a professional training,
Yes.
although this of course comes with its
Totally
own
agree,
criticism. But when we talk about fashion, coming back to your domain of work, you know, now we've seen the inflation that is soaring high,
Oh, yeah.
and a lot of people are on a budget. They would want to look good, but they would want to do that staying within the parameters of their budget. So how precisely do you feel can they do just that? Because sustainability and fashion, that again is the new thing now too.
Yes, it's all about the sustainable fashion nowadays, and I think being a designer, I think I take this as my own responsibility, because as our panelists also said that he is into social work. So I also work as an activist for animals and social rights. So I think one of the main causes that is is inflation, which is disturbing the people, because Pakistanis generally, especially people from certain classes, they're very fashionable and fashion conscious. Yet I feel that everybody is facing this trouble because everything is just too expensive, and where you could own perhaps 10 outfits, now you're able to afford maybe 2 in that amount of money. So my responsibility, I feel, as a designer is to provide fashionable clothes at good rates.
Right.
So that is what I'm consciously designing right now. We are doing a lot
But you
of
wouldn't
prep.
make a compromise on the quality.
I still feel that brands do overcharge, because
A lot of
their
brands do
names,
that.
yes. And actually the quality isn't all that great. I'll probably go on
But
record
here I
and say
feel,
that.
the
Yeah.
responsibility also goes back on the buyer, Sarah.
Yes,
Why
that's true.
should you not research?
But
Why
as a
should you-
designer and as a person of influence, I think that we need to, they say that difference begins at home. So, you know, you have to be the change to bring change,
That's
you
so
know, or
true.
to see the change. So that's what I do. I mean,
Right.
I repeat my outfits, being a person who's, you know, in the media constantly. I also try to design clothes for, you know, all classes, so that, you know, good and stylish clothes are available to people from different classes. And then also to be able to provide sustainable fashion,
Right.
because that is not only because it's trending, but it's
Need of the
because,
hour, you
yes.
have to think about this from an environmental perspective.
Yeah, of course.
That's so rightly put by
Yes.
yourself. Madam, but coming towards you, I hear your perspective is equally important too. When we do talk about issues which then relate to Rescue 1122, on this particular Eid, I think one issue which would be very rampant is the issue of dealing properly with animals, because a lot of times you hear cases that, you know, animals, they get injured either before the act of sacrifice, or for that matter while being transported from one place to the other. So how particularly do you train your officers to look out for such novel incidents?
Two things are very much increasing in this during this Eid. One was the animal rescue, because it's routine, and we are dealing many emergencies on daily basis before the till third day. But the second thing is the fires, it's,
Forest fires.
forest fires, and it's rapidly increasing as compared to the previous year. And the few things, underlying factors which never been discussed, are people are going for the recreational activities. They are using their cooking and everything.
But when we do talk about all the challenges that people like yourself face, what are the issues that people like yourself face in the course of doing that? Perhaps because, you know, you might not have the ideal resources every time, you might not have that ideal collaboration with the
Yes.
other stakeholders too.
Yes, for the forest fire, we are facing a lot of challenges. Like first challenge to access the area, to access the incident site. For and after that utilizing, because you have the fire tenders, but you may not have the road infrastructure over there. What you will do of that? And second thing, in the forest you might don't have any hydrant, any system, any ponds over there. So in that case, it's very important to aware the community of that area. They should have the fire beaters at least, and initial phases, if they identify and they report to us, then it would be easy for us to extinguish the fire.
Right.
And second thing, there should be the few small ponds in different areas. So if the community is well aware and something happened over there,
the
they
local
will be
community,
definitely
the local community,
immediately-
that
Yes.
has to be sensitized.
So
of course.
community will immediately identify and they will react, response, and then these can be managed. Otherwise, we are doing our best, and our
is why
crew
you
is
see,
there,
madam,
and day and night they are firefighting, and a lot of water is being used. Fire beaters are
I
used, and
know.
different techniques. But if we say that in other countries the heli is doing this is not never.
Right.
For
No, but
forest
we
fire,
need to
these
have
things are not.
localized solutions at the end
Yeah.
of the day. But you see, these are things that people want to know about, because
Yes.
these are the issues that people like yourself are facing in serving humanity,
Yes.
that too on special occasions like Eid. Coming towards you, Zuraiz, I do understand the fact that you've recently been awarded the Pride of Pakistan Award, that too on 23rd March recently. So when it comes to giving back to the society, tell us more about this award, because I do understand that there were only a handful of people in Pakistan who were actually given this award, and then how this in turn relates with your music career too.
Yeah, so basically all of this helps me get all the acknowledgement that I need, and that is what
And also
keeps
the
me going.
motivation you see.
Yeah, because you know, at the end of the day, if you're encouraged, you're acknowledged, you get the right push to do certain things that you like. And I would honestly appreciate ISPR, because they noticed all the activities that I was doing, and I was actually helping people primarily with rations and in the interior Sindh, and I was also providing them anti-malaria kits, that is basically mosquito nets, and you know, just to prevent them from dengue or
That's amazing.
there were a lot of victims of flood. They were living in camps, so I was actually doing all of that stuff.
Right, Zuraiz, on which I'll come to you, Salman, and I think here we must also talk about the ever-evolving and the extremely dynamic taste that young people now do have in music. I think one very notable trend in this regard is the fact that we now see more younger people opting for ghazals and they like folk music more than was the case maybe just a few years ago. So in this regard, when it comes to your own song composition, when it comes to your own songs, is that a consideration that you do keep in mind?
Back in the day, you would see people just going towards hip hop and modern music, using modern kicks and snares and modern sounds. But now I see more and more people interested in ghazal-like melodies. So you have to take that into account, and also the fact that more people are now creating a more in-depth sort of understanding of music as well.
Ali Sethi and
Yeah,
all
Right.
these
how
artists,
amazing,
Right.
Ali
And that is
Sethi
something which is actually hitting it off
Yeah.
very well too. And in this regard, I do remember one of your songs by the name of Sajna. That in itself has very neat, very professional lyrics, but at the same time, it has that level of maturity, so to speak. Too.
Yeah, so that's credit to my lyricist Shaunak as well, who has done an amazing
nice.
job. I gave him the vision. I told him how. So this song is actually about a friend who went through a divorce, who was experiencing one-sided love in a marriage, and so I decided to write about it because it was also heavy on my heart. It was having that sort of impact on me. So I had to get it out, and I spoke to Shaunak, my lyricist, and then we worked together to write this song. And
Why don't you play it for us? We would love to listen
Right,
to it.
so
What
that
do you
we
say,
can
Fatma?
actually envision that
Yeah.
pain as well. Of
Yeah,
course,
I know.
we would love to,
Amazing.
be able to
hear you
understand
out.
it.
रैन न बीते साजना चैन मोहे आवे ना बालमा मोह मोह बोले सारे प्रीत नाही समझ पियारे ताने कसे मुझको ये जहां बावरी में बैठी निहारो सुबह शाम तुझको पुकारो माने नहीं फिर तू जरा कैसे कटेगी रहना खिड़कियां खोले ताको रैन न बीते साजना अखियों मोरे नींद कहारे दिल में बस है तू ही बसा दे जाऊं मैं तो जाऊं भी कहाँ बादल बरसे मनवा तरसे नीर संग आंसू छलके फिर भी है कि तू आए ना कैसे कटे फिर रहना हिचकियां भरे हैं ये जिया सिस्कियां भरे हैं ये जिया रैन न बीते
Wow.
That was fabulous.
That
You have
was
such
amazing.
beautiful
And so much depth, that too for being your
soothing
26
voice.
years of age.
mashallah.
That's so impressive,
Yes.
mashallah.
I need
So
to-
what is that one message that you would like people to take from this song?
Yeah, so one of the things I wanted to convey through this song was that one-sided relationships do exist, and this is a reality. But you need to stay strong, and this song is there so you can cope with your circumstances. And sometimes things happen for good, sometimes they don't, but you have to still go
You
on
have
with
to
whatever.
accept things
Yeah, you have
for
to
what
go
they
on
are.
because
I
life
need
goes
to-
on.
I need to
And
talk
you know
to my
when
parents
they
for
say
his
it
restaurant.
right, when they say and I think this is a very accurate depiction, because I
Yeah.
think love unrequited is also indeed one of the deadliest heartbreaks, as they
Yeah,
say.
it
I think we
So-
should also take this opportunity to let the single girls know out there that
Yes, of
somebody
course.
is such a beautiful
And I
soul.
think single men as well. Why
yes.
should we discriminate
Yeah.
for anybody and everybody who's single?
But single
that way?
men won't be proposing to him, na.
Right.
So the
But
girls will be
You
proposing.
see, but what if they listen to this song
Yeah,
and they can
that's
relate to
Yeah,
it?
that's
So
true.
It's for
yes.
anybody who
This
can
is-
It's for
relate to
anybody.
it,
there
It's
you
for
go.
everyone out
Yeah.
there.
It's
right.
gender neutral that way.
Right.
Right, Salman. But coming towards you, Sarah, and moving towards the end of the show,
Right.
I think one thing which we must address is also the fact that a lot of times people, they come across this notion of being dressed up age appropriately. And this
Right.
is something very rampant in the Pakistani society.
Yes.
People, more particularly women, they are subjected to ageism. That is a very big reality
Yeah,
of the
that's
Pakistani
true.
society.
Yes.
So how particularly do you feel can we get past that? That too on occasions like Eid, because do you not feel as a fashion designer yourself that age is just a number, especially when it comes to having your fashion choices in place?
Well, I'm a firm believer in the fact that fashion is your own statement. It's your how you see fashion. So you know how you see a certain style. So to put it very easily, it's, you know, people will always have stuff to say. So just do what you feel is right, and you know, carry the fashion, make that fashion statement that you feel is right for you.
Right.
But of course, at the same time, I do feel that, you know, one should age gracefully, and there are ladies out there who are, you know, very smartly dressed up, and you know, they look really great at any
It's all
age.
about the confidence with
yeah,
which
it's
you
about
carry
the
your
confidence.
clothes,
Yeah.
right.
So I think one of the reasons why I chose to wear black today to this, you know, Eid transmission, although it's a very happy occasion, and you know, it's always great to be on your show.
Thank you.
You always light up the show, mashallah.
Thank you so much.
But I think it was to show solidarity with the people who are unable to, you know, perform sacrifice right now because of the inflation, and also the less fortunate, because I feel that you could be rich or you could be poor, but if your heart is rich and your
intention,
is clear, and you know, so I guess you're just up there for Allah. So
Right.
just to
It's all about
celebrate this Eid with them.
intentions, and you know,
Yes.
even when we do talk about
Yeah.
Islam at the end of
Yes.
the day is a religion about
Of course.
intentions. Of course, there's no compulsion, so to speak.
Yes, and I would like to, you know, use this platform to, you know, convey my message to people that Eid is not about who has the most expensive animal to sacrifice. It's you could have a sacrifice of maybe 10,000 or you know, or 10 million, but it for Allah it's the same. It's all your intention that counts.
Right.
And
It goes back to the basics, and it
definitely.
goes back to your intention at the
just
end
to
of the day.
you know,
Right.
do something nice and give a better message, you know, which carries some meanings. That's
right,
what I would
madam.
like to say. Thank you.
Right, Sarah, your point is noted. Coming towards you, madam, what would your message be with regards to ensuring that yes, people when they go out, they do so in a manner which is not only safe for them but also safe and comfortable for the others? Because you see, then again, this is a vicious cycle. Road safety is not something that you can then look at in isolation. You need to have a very holistic approach towards it.
Yes, road safety has become the more important issue these days. Every day over 1,150 road traffic crashes are daily. We are dealing alone.
And the numbers increase during
Number is
Eid.
increasing day by day. I would request to all of you, all youngsters who are 83% road traffic crashes are associated with the motorbikes. So my appeal would be with the bikers especially to be on the left lane and to drive slowly and be careful while you are driving on the road. And second thing, with the community, I would request, I would like to make appeal over here. Please be careful while you are going for the recreational activities and take care of your family. We are always there to help you and rescue you, but it's your responsibility as well
course.
to get
Everyone
it
is out
recognized
there to
and
protect
take care
themselves.
of your family,
Right.
and be careful. Your small mistakes can be cause of any major incident.
That's very rightly put by yourself, madam. But coming towards the both of you, and before we conclude today's show, I think it would very well gel in with the festivity that we are celebrating on Eid. And of course, on this show today, we conclude with a nice song from either one of you, or for that matter, the two of you, whichever way you might like it. So, what song would you leave us with before we conclude today's special Eid show?
I think today is a special day for all the Muslims, and the Muslims love to hear Sufi medleys and Sufi songs. So we have one prepared for that, and it has two or three songs blended together, and I think we've heard all of these songs when we were young, and especially on PTV, we used to hear Tere Ishq Nachaya Kar Thaya Thaya. So we would be singing all these Sufi
That would be amazing.
tracks.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
ਇੱਕ ਮੌਲਾ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਡਰਦੀ, 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 ਇੱਕ ਮੌਲਾ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਡਰਦੀ। ਭਾਵੇਂ ਜਾਨ ਨਾ ਜਾਨ, ਭਾਵੇਂ ਜਾਨ ਨਾ ਜਾਨ, ਵੇ ਵੇੜਿਆ ਵੜ ਮੇਰੇ, ਮੈਂ ਤੇਰੇ ਕੁਰਬਾਨ, ਮੈਂ ਤੇਰੇ ਕੁਰਬਾਨ, ਵੇ ਵੇੜਿਆ ਵੜ ਮੇਰੇ, ਭਾਵੇਂ ਜਾਨ ਨਾ ਜਾਨ, ਤੇਰੇ ਜਿਹਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਨ ਕੋਈ, ਤੇਰੇ ਜਿਹਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਨ ਕੋਈ, ਢੂੰਡਾ ਜੰਗਲ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਰੋਈ, ਢੂੰਡਾ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਰਾ ਜਹਾਨ, ਢੂੰਡਾ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਰਾ ਜਹਾਨ, ਵੇ ਵੇੜਿਆ ਵੜ ਮੇਰੇ, ਭਾਵੇਂ ਜਾਨ ਨਾ ਜਾਨ। ਇਸ਼ਕ ਦੀ ਜੰਗੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੋਰ ਬੁਲੰਦਾ ਐਸੇ, ਇਸ਼ਕ ਦੀ ਜੰਗੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੋਰ ਬੁਲੰਦਾ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਿਬਲਾ ਤੇ ਕਾਬਾ ਸੋਨਾ ਯਾਰ ਦੱਸਦਾ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਿਬਲਾ ਤੇ ਕਾਬਾ ਸੋਨਾ ਯਾਰ ਦੱਸਦਾ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਘਾਇਲ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੁੜ ਖਬਰ ਨਾ ਲਈਆ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਘਾਇਲ ਕਰਕੇ ਫਿਰ ਖਬਰ ਨਾ ਲਈਆ, ਤੇਰੇ ਇਸ਼ਕ ਨਚਾਇਆ ਕਰ ਥਈਆ ਥਈਆ ਥਈਆ, ਤੇਰੇ ਇਸ਼ਕ ਨਚਾਇਆ ਕਰ ਥਈਆ ਥਈਆ।
Well, to conclude today's special Eid show, my only message in the conclusion today is that when we do talk about Eid celebrations, we must definitely remember the less fortunate and of course the downtrodden segments of the Pakistani society. Eid is that one time where we generally as a society need to be more compassionate, we need to be more generous, and we generally, should aspire to be more kind too. Here's wishing everybody who is celebrating Eid a very happy Eid. Eid Mubarak!